This guy right here is the hero that America needs. Randy Bryce is an ironworker, a guy who literally wears a hard hat to work every day, and he's running for Congress. But he's not just running for Congress in just any old district. He's running against Republican Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. And he ain't pulling any punches while he does it. Check out the beginning of his first campaign ad that he just released, which features his mom.
I'm on 20 drugs, and if I don't take the one that costs them thousands of dollars, I don't know what would happen. You have to give me a bear hug.
My mom is probably the most important person in my life. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. There's no doubt in my mind that there are thousands of people like her that don't have what she has. The system is extremely flawed. I work every day so that me and my son have insurance. I've been an ironworker for 20 years.
So this guy, Randy Bryce, he's a local community activist and a lifelong resident of southeastern Wisconsin who actually works for a living and seems like a mini Bernie Sanders who's running for Congress, as opposed to Paul Ryan, who's never held a real job in his entire life outside of politics. Well, unless you consider driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile while he was in college a real job. It's true, you can Google it. This race is poised to be a total knockdown, drag-out, David versus Goliath political battle with national implications, especially since Randy has made it clear he's not going to pull a single punch while taking on one of the most powerful politicians in America. Here's another part of the video that Randy released on YouTube.
I decided to run for office because not everybody's seated at the table, and it's time to make a bigger table. I'm the best person to represent this district because I'm a working person. If somebody falls behind, we're so much stronger if we carry them with us. That's the way I was raised. You look out for each other. I think it's time, let's trade places. Paul Ryan, you can come work the iron, and I'll go to DC.
Hot damn! That is one hell of a campaign ad. And that is the way you kick off a campaign, Randy. This is what resistance looks like, folks. Ponying up, putting your name on the ballot, and speaking truth to power. And he's not the only one who's taken powerful pricks in Congress on. Paula Jean Swearengin just announced that she's running against horrible Democratic Senator Joe Manchin in the Democratic primary. She's also the kind of hero we need, as she's been showing up to town halls to give her Democratic senators hell when they act like goddamn Republicans. You may remember her opponent, Joe. He's the one who literally took a gun and shot a hole in a copy of pro-environmental legislation a few years back when Obama was president. Here, check it out.
I'll cut federal spending, and I'll repeal the bad parts of Obamacare. I sued EPA, and I'll take dead aim at the cap and trade bill.
You sound like a fucking Republican, man. Like, there's zero space between what that guy is saying and what a Republican would say in a campaign ad. Actually, it's worse, because Republicans would try to present themselves as somewhat middle of the road, even while they pursue the most radical social experiment in public policy that our country's ever seen. This horrible excuse for a Democrat, Senator Manchin, should be ashamed to say that he's a member of a party that elected presidents like FDR, JFK, and Obama. And to all those folks who'd say, well, you know, he represents West Virginia, let me fix that backwards-ass logic for you right now. Sherrod Brown is a progressive populist who wins in Ohio year after year, despite having legions of the Republican Party spend millions of dollars against him every time. Birch Bayh was a progressive populist from Indiana. Paul Wellstone was a progressive populist from the Midwest. And William Jennings Bryan was a progressive populist from Nebraska. Hell, even Huey Long ran on a platform of progressive populism and beat the tar out of the corporate overlords in his heyday. Maybe the key to winning in places that aren't on the East and West Coast is to embrace progressive populism, just like Bernie Sanders did. But the recipe that establishment Democrats always recommend when they get their asses kicked in yet another election is more moderation, more bipartisanship, and more placating conservative opposition in order to get some Republican votes that, guess what, you're never gonna fucking get. Republicans don't like you. They hate you. Even when you make ads spouting off their verbatim fucking talking points, they are still going to vote against you. Democrats like this have Stockholm Syndrome, and they're trying to convince the political terrorists in the Republican Party that they should hug it out with us. Never gonna happen. Democrats like that are the problem. Democrats like Joe Manchin are the first line of defense for the status quo in Congress. And they enable Republicans like Paul Ryan to keep shoving horrible conservative policies down our throats. So the only solution is to beat them at the ballot box and collapse their will to resist. That's why openly progressive populist candidates like Randy Bryce and Paula Jean Swearengin are the future of the Democratic Party and the future leaders of Congress. And it's time to take out the trash. So jump on Team David, help out those bold progressives, and let's remove every single corporate Goliath currently sitting in Congress. I'm Ryan Clayton, this is Content News. Come back daily for the news where we're free to share the truth.